If you've spent a lot of time online, you may have seen videos or social media posts from British people mourning the loss of their country and talking about how they plan to take their country back. According to these Brits, foreigners who want to change their laws and way of life have invaded Britain. These concerned Brits allege that these foreign invaders don't share British values or respect British culture. However, when pinned down to what British values and culture are, many can't name any. From the rolling hills of the English countryside to the vibrant streets of London, British values are a rich tapestry woven from centuries of history, invasions, wars, and conflicts. Join us as we explore the origins of British values. At the heart of British society lie four fundamental values: democracy, rule of law, individual liberty, and mutual respect and tolerance. These principles are the foundation of British life, guiding everything from governance to daily interactions. But how did these values come to define a nation? Let's dive into the history behind Britain's democratic spirit. The origins of British democracy can be traced back to the Anglo-Saxon period before the Norman conquest in 1066, where local assemblies known as moots allowed free men to discuss and decide on local matters. The Norman conquest introduced a feudal system, centralizing power in the monarchy's hands, but also laying the groundwork for structured governance. The Magna Carta of 1215, signed by King John, is a cornerstone of British democracy. This pivotal document limited the power of the monarchy and established that everyone, including the king, was subject to the law and providing key legal protections. The development of Parliament was a critical phase in the evolution of British democracy. The Great Council, consisting of nobles and clergy, evolved into the Parliament of England, with the Model Parliament of 1295 including commoners. By the 14th century, Parliament had split into two houses, the House of Lords and the House of Commons. Conflicts between King Charles I and Parliament led to the English Civil War. The struggle centered around issues of royal authority versus parliamentary power. Following Charles I's execution in 1649, England became a republic under Oliver Cromwell. This period saw the temporary abolition of the monarchy and the House of Lords. The Glorious Revolution of 1688 further solidified parliamentary supremacy and constitutional monarchy, and the Bill of Rights of 1689 outlined specific constitutional and civil rights. In the 19th and 20th centuries, the expansion of suffrage and modern developments significantly shaped British democracy. A series of reform acts gradually expanded the electorate, increasing representation and extending voting rights to working-class men. The Representation of the People Acts in the 20th century granted suffrage to all men over 21 and women over 30, eventually equalizing the voting age and lowering it to 18. Modern developments, such as devolution, transferred powers to regional governments in Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, while the House of Lords Act 1999 reduced hereditary peers, making it primarily an appointed chamber. Fast forward to today, and you'll see these principles in action during every election, where the voice of the people shapes the future of the nation. The rule of law ensures that justice is applied equally. The origins of the British rule of law can be traced back to the signing of the Magna Carta. This seminal document, signed by King John under pressure from his barons, established the crucial principle that everyone, including the king, was subject to the law. It introduced key legal protections, such as the right to a fair trial and protection from arbitrary imprisonment, laying the groundwork for a legal system based on equality before the law. The development of common law under King Henry II in the 12th century further solidified the rule of law in Britain. Henry II established a system of royal courts and sent judges throughout the kingdom to ensure uniformity in legal decisions. This system of common law, based on judicial precedents and established customs, emphasized consistency and predictability in the application of the law. The independence of the judiciary began to take root, reinforcing the idea that legal decisions should be free from political influence. The Glorious Revolution of 1688 was a pivotal event in the evolution of the British rule of law. It resulted in the overthrow of King James II and the ascension of William III and Mary II to the throne, conditional upon their acceptance of the Bill of Rights in 1689. This landmark document further limited the powers of the monarchy and affirmed the supremacy of Parliament, embedding the principles of constitutional monarchy and parliamentary sovereignty. The Bill of Rights also enshrined key civil liberties, such as the right to petition the king and the prohibition of cruel and unusual punishment. Subsequent legal reforms continued to strengthen the rule of law in Britain. The Habeas Corpus Act of 1679 provided robust protections against unlawful imprisonment, ensuring that individuals could not be detained without just cause. In the modern era, the Human Rights Act of 1998 incorporated the European Convention on Human Rights into British law, further entrenching the protection of individual rights and reinforcing the rule of law as a fundamental value in contemporary Britain. Like the other values, the British value of individual liberty has deep historical roots, beginning with the Magna Carta. It introduced crucial legal protections for individuals, such as the right to a fair trial, laying the groundwork for personal freedoms that even the sovereign could not infringe on. The Habeas Corpus Act of 1679 further cemented the principle of individual liberty by ensuring that no one could be detained without being brought before a court to determine the legality of their detention. This act provided a vital safeguard against arbitrary imprisonment, reinforcing the notion that personal freedom was a fundamental right that needed protection. Philosophical contributions, particularly from Enlightenment thinkers like John Locke, significantly shaped the concept of individual liberty in Britain. Locke's writings, especially two treatises of government, argued for natural rights to life, liberty, and property, and posited that the government's role was to protect these rights. His ideas, along with those of other philosophers like Thomas Hobbes and Jean-Jacques Rousseau, influenced British and global perspectives on personal freedom and the social contract. The Glorious Revolution of 1688 and the subsequent Bill of Rights in 1689 were critical in advancing individual liberty. This period marked a significant shift towards greater legal and personal freedoms, including the right to petition the king and protection from cruel and unusual punishment. In the modern era, the value of individual liberty has been continually reinforced through various legal reforms and civil rights movements. The Human Rights Act of 1998, which incorporated the European Convention on Human Rights into British law, provided a comprehensive legal framework for protecting individual rights and freedoms. This act, along with the historical development of voting rights and civil liberties, has solidified individual liberty as a core value in contemporary British society, ensuring that personal freedoms are protected and respected. The British value of mutual respect and tolerance originates in the diverse and multicultural history of the British Isles. Early influences can be traced back to the Roman, Saxon, Viking, and Norman invasions, which brought various cultures, religions, and traditions to Britain. Each of these periods contributed to a tapestry of cultural interactions and exchanges, setting the stage for a society that had to accommodate and integrate different groups. During the Reformation in the 16th century, religious conflicts between Catholics and Protestants highlighted the need for mutual respect and tolerance. The establishment of the Church of England under Henry VIII and the subsequent religious turmoil under his successors, including the persecution of Catholics and dissenting Protestant sects, underscored the importance of finding a way to coexist peacefully despite religious differences. The eventual acceptance of various Protestant denominations laid the groundwork for broader religious tolerance. The Enlightenment of the 17th and 18th centuries further promoted the values of mutual respect and tolerance through its emphasis on reason, science, and individual rights. Philosophers like John Locke argued for religious tolerance and the separation of church and state, suggesting that individuals should be free to practice their religion without interference from the government. Locke's ideas influenced British society by advocating for a more inclusive and respectful approach to different beliefs and lifestyles. Britain expanded its empire in the 19th and early 20th centuries by conquering and colonizing other nations. This brought it into contact with various cultures, religions, and ethnic groups. The experiences of governing a diverse empire highlighted the practical necessity of tolerance and mutual respect in maintaining peace and stability. Waves of immigration from Ireland, Eastern Europe, the Caribbean and South Asia enriched British society and posed new challenges and opportunities for fostering an inclusive community. This period saw the gradual development of policies and social attitudes to promote integration and respect for diversity. The post-World War II era and the subsequent decolonization period marked a significant transformation in British attitudes towards mutual respect and tolerance. The arrival of immigrants from former colonies and the establishment of legal frameworks, like the Race Relations Acts of 1965, 1968, and 1976, aimed to combat discrimination and promote equality. These legislative measures, along with ongoing social movements advocating for civil rights and equality, have embedded the values of mutual respect and tolerance into the fabric of contemporary British society. Today, Britain's multicultural landscape is seen by some, not all, as a testament to its commitment to these values, fostering an environment where diverse communities can coexist and thrive. So, British values are born from the Anglo-Saxon and Norman invasions, religious intolerance, the Enlightenment period, and the enslavement and colonization of many countries across the globe. British values are not exclusive to being British. They are shared by other democratic countries as a way of creating an orderly society, where individual members can feel safe and valued and can contribute for the good of themselves and others. Whilst the right to protest is a value, religious intolerance is not, and yet anti-Muslim rhetoric can be heard from top politicians, mainstream news media, and the man in the street. Is it a case of do as I say, not as I do? Now you know what the 4 British values are and how they came to be. Next time, we will explore the great British culture. Thank you for joining us on this journey through origins of British values. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and share your thoughts. Subscribe for more fascinating explorations of global cultures.